Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So at the time that this video, I'm like slowly spinning in the chair. At the time that this video is going up, Jupiter is about to enter into the sign of Gemini. It's going to be there from May 25th, 2024 until June 9th of 2025. So basically for about a year, Jupiter is going to be in the sign of Gemini. So in today's reading, we are going to be finding out how this will impact you. If you want to know more details about how it's going to affect you personally, a simple way to do that is just to see what house of your birth chart Jupiter is going to be transiting in. Obviously, you can get a lot more complex than that, but that is just a simple way to get the gist of what you might see happening in your life. But today we are just going to be using the tarot for general messages and predictions. We have 3 groups. It's going to be awesome. Before we get into it, I do want to let you guys know that I have a new song that just came out. She is called Mad. My Aries son loves that title. This song is a collaboration with Chris Kea, who is a producer based in Rome. And this is actually the first collaboration I've done completely remotely. So Chris was so kind to DM me after hearing my song, You Would Wait. He sent me this beat, which is totally up my alley. And as I was listening, I just had the line, "We came to get mad" in my head. We came to get mad. And I'm like, in what situation are people trying to get mad? And then I was like, oh, the internet. And as I wrote the lyrics, they revealed themselves to me to be about social media and how it affects all of us really, but I sort of went from the angle of how it affects creators who feel pressure to put out more and more, like their art is just becoming content to please an algorithm. People who compare themselves to their peers, sometimes even to strangers they know nothing about, because maybe those other people seem to be really successful or they seem to have blown up really quickly. Like, what does this person have that I don't have? And we can really get trapped. Like, we know that going online is going to trigger us, and yet we keep coming back. It can become like an addiction. The process of making this song was super smooth. I feel like everything just flowed naturally. It was super awesome to collaborate with Chris. He is such a versatile artist with his sound exploring across all genres in electronic music, which makes my heart so happy, and a super cool person. So please do check out his music and let us know what you think about Mad. I know for a fact that there are a lot of creators and creative people in the collective who watches my videos, and so I hope that you're able to relate to this song. Actually, I hope you're not able to relate, because I hope you're not going through these struggles currently, but maybe you have at some point in the past. And if you are going through this, I hope that it can help you know that you're not alone and you are not the problem. It is this crazy environment. For those of you who would like to check it out, I'm gonna have it linked down below in the description and in the pinned comment. And thank you so much to everyone who has checked out my music so far. It is like the closest thing to my soul. I'm sending you guys so much love, and let's get on to the reading.
Not gonna get hurt, we came to get mad. No, we not turn, we're taking it back. We're claiming that thirst, you want it so bad.
Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So at the time that this video is going up, Jupiter will have just entered into the sign of Gemini, and it is going to stay in the sign of Gemini until June 9th, 2025. So it's about a year-long period. Jupiter does spend about a year in each sign as it goes around the wheel as it goes around the sun. So in today's reading, we are going to see what this means for you, what this astrological transit will bring, the changes, blessings, and challenges that you'll be experiencing during this period. Hopefully there will be lots of blessings coming in for you, as Jupiter is quite a benevolent planet, and wherever it goes, it brings luck and it expands that energy. But expansion can also be challenging. So we are gonna leave this open and see what messages Jupiter has for you today. I don't really have a specific format, as sometimes I do. Like in this section of the reading, we'll be talking about this, and then in this part, I'm not really gonna do that today. I'm just gonna leave it very open. Whatever you need to know about this period will come through. And And that's it. So there are 3 readings for you guys to choose from today. We're going to be using a different tarot deck for each. And I also have my astro dice on top of each. And of course, I have them on the side of Gemini. And I'm going to show you a card from each deck. I'm going to be showing the Wheel of Fortune because that is the major arcana that is associated with the planet Jupiter. So you're also going to be able to see the artwork of each deck and get a feel for what it's like. So when you're choosing your group, you could be drawn to this back artwork, the front artwork, or you could be drawn to the die. They're each very distinct in color and pattern, so it works out nicely. But without further ado, let's get a close-up look at each of your options. Number 1s for your reading, we're going to be using the Zeke's Arcana Tarot, and your Gemini die is this green marbly one. And here is your Wheel of Fortune. Number 2s for your reading, we're going to be using the Ethereal Visions Tarot, and you have this swirly blue, purple, white die, and here is your Wheel of Fortune. And number 3s in your reading, we're going to be using the Muse Tarot, and you have this sparkly pink die, and here is your Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number 1s. So if you guys chose the green die and the Zeke's Arcana Tarot, this is going to be your reading all about Jupiter in Gemini. A couple things I wanted to mention just before we get into it. I was just filming the intro and I do my little, I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. And then after that, I turn off the camera, and I stopped the camera at 5 minutes and 25 seconds. And that stood out to me because 525 is the actual date that Jupiter is going to enter into Gemini. It's the first day of this period. So I do feel like there's a message in there for this group that you will feel the effects of this transit as soon as it starts. You may even start to feel it a little bit before May 25th, which would mean that perhaps you are already feeling it now. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is that when I stopped the camera, the battery was at 33%. Because I wasn't filming the intro on a full battery. So it was at 33. So I do feel that one thing this transit is going to bring for you guys is a boosting in your creativity. We talked a little bit in the intro about Jupiter being an expansive energy. So one thing I really think is going to be expanding for you is your creative inspiration or the desire to be creative or the results that you reap from your creative projects. I also think that your manifestation abilities are going to be expanded and your desire to manifest and to be in that creative process in your life is going to be expanded. Let's quickly roll some other dice and see what areas of your life might be affected the most during this transit. Okay, so we have the number 1. And we have number 5. That makes a lot of sense because the 5th house is related to creativity, passion. This is definitely going to be a very creative time for you. For those of you who do something creative for a living, this is an amazing sign. Even if you wouldn't consider yourself a creative person, that may be something that you are getting into during this period. And especially just wanting to have fun with it and using creativity as a tool for self-discovery. I also see a heightening of your confidence. So feeling confident in your creative abilities and also in sharing them. And definitely getting to know yourself a lot better during this period, but getting to know all the amazing things about you. I feel like a lot of the time we talk about like shadow work and seeing the darker and heavier sides of yourself that may be hidden, but I feel like this energy for you is about bringing out all of your amazing qualities and bringing out all of your strengths and really becoming confident in who you are and showing that off to the world. That's going to be something that is changing for you during this period, or like an energy that is really getting stronger. I also think that you're going to feel very grounded in who you are, so not easily swayed or influenced by external factors. So, you know, even if someone like said something negative about you or said something inaccurate about you, it's not really going to shake you. You're like, you can't say anything to tear me down. I know who I am, and I know that I'm awesome, and I'm going to keep standing in my truth, and I'm going to keep standing in my power. I see you becoming more, not just expressive during this period, but more vocal. So, you know, where that's so funny. As soon as I said that, I heard someone yelling, I think outside. In cases before where you maybe would have just like stayed silent or held your tongue, now you're like, you know what, I'm going to say something. I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to speak my truth. I'm going to participate in this conversation. I'm going to speak up for what I believe in. You're becoming more confident with like speaking and putting your opinions out there and maybe speaking up for causes that matter to you. Whereas maybe before that's something that made you nervous or anxious, or you felt like awkward speaking in front of people. I just feel like you're becoming a really confident speaker and creator and expresser and putting yourself out there. And also I'm hearing for some of you, you're going to start unapologetically diving into your passions without worrying if it's cringe or worrying if you're too much. Like the things that you're excited about and passionate about, no longer are we like toning that down. You're just going to let yourself fully dive into the things that you are really, really passionate about. Wow. Beautiful energy to start off. Also, if you are familiar with your birth chart, it could be that Jupiter is passing through one of these houses. So Jupiter could be in your first house, like if you're a Gemini rising, or it could be in your fifth house, which that could mean that you are that you are an Aquarius rising. It doesn't have to be, but that could be a confirmation for some of you. Now, let's get into your oracle cards and see what else Jupiter is affecting for you. We have Pelican with self-sacrifice. We have Waxing Gibbous with fear. We have Dahlia with patience. And we have Make Your Move. And we have two number 11s here. And we have a number 1 here and your group number 1. So 1111 or repeating ones could be a significant angel number for this group. Perhaps you are already seeing this number, or be on the lookout for it as it's a sign of a new chapter that is coming in for you. We also have the number 20, which is related to the Judgment card. Number 11, it could be strength or justice, but I think that this is justice energy. During this period, the months of October and November could be especially important. I do think that this is a period where you are feeling more and more called to step into your life purpose. So for some of you, it has been calling to you for quite some time, but perhaps you've been afraid of really stepping into your purpose, or you've just been hesitant about the things that you know you would have to sacrifice in order to step into your purpose. For those of you who are not sure what your purpose is, I do think that that's going to become clear during this period. We have a waxing moon, so you are definitely going through a lot of growth during this period. And I do feel that especially your visibility is growing. It's like more people are looking at you, more people are listening to you. And that might be something that you are afraid of. I feel like for many of you, gaining more visibility or gaining more of an audience or more of a platform, it is a part of your purpose, but it's something that it's something that you simultaneously want, but you are also afraid of it. And so that might keep you kind of stuck. It's like you can't decide if you want to be seen or not, or it's something that's like simultaneously very exciting to you and also terrifying. But I do feel that part of your calling is having a platform. Also, this kind of looks like 2011, like the year 2011. So there could be a cycle that started around this year that is now coming to a close. Something from that year is coming full circle. Or this could also be your spiritual team encouraging you to look back on your life during this time and where you were. And you know what's interesting is that since 2011, Jupiter would have more or less made like a full orbit. So it could be like an important cycle or something that is coming full circle. Now, looking at all of these together, for some of you, I do feel that like this self-sacrifice could be something that hasn't happened yet, but you know that in order to step into your purpose, there will be things that you need to sacrifice. And so that in itself is scary for you. For others of you, I feel that you have already made these sacrifices. And the scary thing is that what if it was all for nothing? And what's happening in this period is that you're being shown that those things you sacrificed are now paying off. And that yes, you were on the right path. Yes, it was divinely guided for you to make these sacrifices. And so an example of this energy would be like someone who put all of their money or put a large amount of their money into starting their business. And so now, you know, that money's gone and they maybe haven't seen the progress yet that they wanted to, like their business didn't take off. And that's a very scary place to be because it's like, what if this was all for nothing? Did I just make a really big mistake in like putting all of my money into this? Was I not reading the signs correctly that led me to make this decision? That period of waiting could be quite scary. I feel like there's a little fly on your card. I feel like with patience, this is saying it was all a matter of time, and Jupiter now is going to bless you with the payoff for your efforts and for all of the things that you sacrificed. There's another message coming through for some of you that you knew what your purpose was and you knew what your passion was, and you actually sacrificed that to commit to something else. And during this period, you're going to get to go back to your passion that you had once sacrificed. And so in that case, the fear might be with, you know, admitting to yourself that this is still important to you and that you do want to go back. And an example that's coming to my mind now is like someone who had career aspirations and they really felt like this is what I'm super passionate about, this is my purpose. And then they started a family, and so their focus shifted to being there for their family and raising their children. And that's something that they wouldn't trade for the world, but they did have to make that decision to sacrifice their career aspirations for some time. And maybe there's like always a part of them that wanted to go back and pursue those things, but were maybe afraid to admit that because there's some kind of like societal pressure or internal pressure of like, you have to just be grateful for the life you have now. And if you aspire to do other things or things outside of this, then it means that like you're not committed to your family or you're not grateful or something like that. So there may be some pressures or fears involved with admitting like, I'm still passionate about this. Like these things that I once sacrificed, like I want them back. I want to go back and pursue those things again. So I think this is a period of gaining clarity about an important aspect of your calling, feeling confident to move towards it, and releasing any feelings of like guilt or shame or judgments surrounding pursuing that calling or how you go about it, and also receiving confirmation for those of you who are already moving towards it that you are very much on the right path. We have this Make Your Move card, which is very interesting. I'm hearing like you're playing chess, not checkers, and you know, there's something very strategic about chess, obviously, but we also have the dice on this card, which adds an element of luck. You know, like there's no real strategy to throwing dice. You just have to throw it and see how it goes. And I feel like, yes, this is also a card about releasing harsh judgments on yourself, because you could have the best strategy. You could be doing everything right. You could have planned everything perfectly. And in this life, there's always going to be curveballs. There's always going to be some element of luck. And so if things don't go or didn't go exactly as you planned, that's not a failing on your part. There's always going to be some elements that are out of our control. That's always just a reality of life. And so it's important not to be hard on yourself if like you didn't predict things to the T. And I also think with patience next to this could be about like giving yourself the grace to really take your time in making your decisions and to not feel rushed. And if you have like made decisions hastily in the past and then regretted them or like wish that you gave yourself more time, I hope that this is something you can forgive yourself for and just like moving forward, be more intentional and really take your time more. I do also think that the dice here could be a sign that luck is going to favor you during this period, because Jupiter is all about luck. Whatever move you decide to make, it's like luck will favor you. Is there anything else? We have judgment energy, we have justice energy. I do actually feel strength energy here, because like releasing judgments about yourself, being gentle to yourself and moving forward, that feels strengthy. It does feel justicey as well, because you're being fair to yourself. This Jupiter transit could be affecting, if you're familiar with your birth chart, it could be affecting your natal Pluto or your natal Venus or your natal Sun. So like if I use myself as an example, Jupiter entering Gemini, that would be forming an opposition with my Pluto. It would be forming a square with my Venus. It would be forming a sextile with my Sun. So like if you're into astrology and like the aspects and how transits are aspecting your natal planets, there may be something with Pluto, Venus, or the Sun. Again, it doesn't have to be, but this could be extra confirmation. So, and also like Jupiter could be expanding your patience. Like you could be becoming a more patient person during this time. But I also think it could be magnifying your fears so that you can better like identify them and address them. So we're gonna move into your tarot now. Oh, you know what else I wanted to do? I just remembered. I got out the guidebook for this deck because I wanted to read the Pelican. So it is on page 57. Yeah. The pelican is a very large black and white bird with a very distinctive large expandable bill that helps them collect large amounts of water and fish. The pelican warns us about taking on more than we can handle and of overcommitting or trying to please everyone. Their association with sacrifice comes from the way they clean themselves with their massive bills, striking it on their chest and sometimes piercing it and causing it to bleed. This action reminds us not to sacrifice ourselves or blame ourselves when we fail. Literally, yeah, blame ourselves when we fail to live up to our own expectations and to avoid punishing ourselves for others' incompetency. So if you had previous failures, I think that your spiritual team is affirming that this was not your doing, but rather something that was out of your control. And maybe for some of you, it was incompetency on someone else's part, but I feel like you often hurt yourself by blaming things on yourself. The pelican asks us to look carefully at what is important to us and to steer away from sacrificing our own needs in order to take care of others. The pelican also indicates a great ability to learn, take in, and deal with a large amount of information or feelings. They really can hold a lot within that bill, and it reminds us to gather and hold what we have and what we value close to us. You have many things you do well, and you need to stop stepping down and allowing others to take the credit for what you do. You are important and worthy. The pelican reminds us that we can take what we cherish and carry it with us in our hearts if we need to. The pelican reminds us to know our own value, to not allow others' needs to come above our own unless we honestly are willing to make that sacrifice for the right reasons, and to be honest about what those reasons are and why making the sacrifice is important to us. Yes, it's like self-sacrifice, but in an empowering way. When it is your decision, when you know why you're doing it, when you're doing it with intention, rather than that being the default, that I must just give of myself. I must just give to others because that's my role, because they deserve to be cared for more than I do. It's like sacrificing with intention and in a way that empowers you. We spoke about your creativity being heightened. And I think that one thing that will require balance is that while your mental energy is growing and growing, remember that you are still one person. Because I feel like if you tried to carry out all of your ideas at once, it could lead to a bit of burnout. Okay, so now we are getting into your Zeke's Arcana Tarot. And let's see what else is in store for you. Wow, yeah, look, we have the Knight of Swords. So your mind is going to be very active during this period. And the fact that the Knight is like bursting out of the head and the head is splitting, and this card just denotes a lot of speed. I do feel one thing to be careful of is your mind moving faster than your body can, or your mind moving faster than time itself. I think it will be really important to have an outlet for all of your ideas, like a notebook of your ideas, so you can come back to them later rather than feeling like, oh my gosh, this idea just came to me right now and I must act on it right now. Let them age, let them marinate, let them mature for a while. You can always come back to them later. I know personally, I'm still working on songs that I started years ago, because you work on it a bit and then you leave it. You come back to it with a fresh perspective. So just remember that there is no rush. There's no rush to get all of these ideas out there. Patience, make your move. Like, You can wait to make a move. You don't need to feel that pressure of like, if I don't do this now, it's not gonna do well. I have to get this out right now. And we can feel that pressure because of algorithms. We can feel that pressure because of like trends in culture. You know, like this topic is popular right now. So if I don't get out my piece on this topic right now, then people are gonna lose interest. People like revisiting things, and people can, yeah, people can wait. The world can wait. There's just a feeling of like, if you get swept up with that sense of urgency, or that there's like a time limit on publishing your thoughts or bringing these ideas to life, it could really lead to burnout. So, you know, get them down. Like if you're worried about forgetting them, definitely get down a draft. But I think there's something about being more slow and more mindful with your projects. We have the Strength card, which maybe I need to, yeah, I'll just in case, even though it's technically, like, it's not a real person, but you never know what YouTube's gonna do. So yeah. We have the Strength card, which in this case, I do feel like is indicating some form of self-restraint. How the woman has like her hand on the tiger and is just ever so gently holding the tiger back. I also think that, you know, we spoke about feeling secure within yourself. I think that your boundaries are getting stronger in a good way, and like the ease that you feel with establishing boundaries is getting stronger. You are definitely feeling more vocal and speaking out more, but that's also something that you're doing with intention, and something that I feel you're getting really good at is picking your battles. Like you can gauge when your words are going to be impactful and when an exchange is going to be productive, versus like when you would just be wasting your breath because this person is not interested in hearing anyone out. This person is not interested in opening their mind to other perspectives. And so trying to force them to do that, or trying to convince them any other way, would just be futile. And so, you know, that's a form of boundaries, where you're not just gonna like get triggered by something someone said and like go off on them and tell them how wrong they are and how much of an asshole they are, or whatever it is. You're like, oh, this person is not worth my time. This person is not worth my breath. Like I have my truth, but I'm gonna save it for ears who are actually ready to listen to it. And so, you know, you are, and there's something here that looks very like, you know, running to the defense of things that matter to you, but just doing that in a more selective way. And because of this confidence that is growing, I also feel that something that's improving for you is that you no longer take things so personally, you know? So if someone was like judging you or talking badly about you, or like commented something negative on you or your work, I feel like it first of all, it doesn't change how you feel about your own work or about yourself, because you love yourself, you love the work you put out. And so whatever this person is on about, like, it's not going to affect you. But I feel like you also realize that what they're getting angry about is not me, it's their assumption of who I am. It's what they're projecting onto me. It's a personal issue. Like, it's a them issue. It's not, you're realizing what is actually a you problem that you have to address and what is not a you problem. And when it's not a you problem, you become very good at like disengaging with that and not letting that BS live in your head rent free. You're becoming very wise at picking your battles and what deserves your energy and what deserves your mental currency and what doesn't. And like, I'm getting emotional with this. Like, I'm so proud of you. I feel like your spiritual team is so proud of you. And I just feel this expansive feeling in my heart, because it's like you're about to reclaim so much of your energy, so much of your mental, emotional, spiritual, even physical energy. And you get to spend this more intentionally on what you really love and what really matters to you. I'm just remembering, like, I saw this post once and I don't remember the exact wording, but it was like, I'm just imagining someone thinking that they have beef with me, and meanwhile, like, I'm just at home teaching myself how to cartwheel or something like that. And I feel like that's your vibe during this period. Like, you're having so much fun with this 5th house, and like, you're creating, you're exploring yourself, you're expressing yourself, you're making art, you're having fun, you're enjoying your hobbies. Like, the level of unbothered, it's like when Megan Thee Stallion put out Hiss. Like, you're just so unbothered. Okay. What do we have next for my lovely group number 1s? Oh my gosh, we have the Emperor. Woo. Do you guys have Aries and Leo placements in your birth chart? Because Jupiter in Gemini would be sextiling your Aries and Leo placements, which is a very favorable aspect. This is more empowering energy. I feel like many of you will be called to do some kind of independent venture during this period, something that maybe you once believed that you couldn't do on your own. I just heard some of you are leading a movement, which that sounds very big, but you could be leading a movement of thought, or like influencing thought, or, you know, waking people up to the truth or to their own truth. But yeah, this is giving the vibe of, like, for example, starting your own business, or being a leader in a certain field, or being a pioneer in a certain field. So you could be taking an approach within a certain field that hasn't been done before. And that's the thing. I feel like there was a sense of urgency that you need to be putting things out based on the trends, or like riding the wave of trends to gain success. And it's like, no, you are the trend. The trend starts when you say it does. You are the trailblazer. You are meant to be the trailblazer in whatever field you are in. Or you are meant to be in a leadership position in whatever field you are in. For some of you, this could be also a promotion. This is so weirdly specific, and I don't know anything about the medical field, but I just saw someone who got promoted, and they're in charge of the hospital shift, or they're running a clinic or something like that. Anyway, I think the point is that it could be so many different jobs. So some of you are becoming a team leader, and the way you lead others, there's a feeling of it's unconventional, or it hasn't really been done before, but that's a very good thing. You are a very good leader. You are a very good trendsetter. There could also be something that you never thought you could do alone, but now that you have a higher level of confidence, it doesn't scare you to do it by yourself. And this could be so many different things, right? It could be traveling, it could be going to classes, learning a new skill, it could be making a creative project, anything or something you used to depend on others to do. Even like for example, as a foreigner in another country, things like going to the immigration bureau, things like, you know, going to, like we were just talking about, going to the hospital, that can be things that are scary to do alone because of the language barrier or because of social anxiety. And so it's like things that you were once scared to do by yourself, you can now do confidently. Maybe, and I'm one of these people, maybe you don't like making phone calls because it makes you nervous and you feel awkward. And you're gaining confidence now that you can do these things with no problem. And oh my gosh, I'm realizing there's going to be a lot of things that you overcome procrastination because you no longer have that anxiety of doing them. Like, oh, I don't know, my sink is broken, but I have anxiety and I hate like calling the plumber and like having to talk to people or whatever it is. And you're like, no, I can do it. I can handle it. I can get this sorted. Your power to initiate and to take action on things and your confidence is getting stronger. So those things that you once procrastinated on because it was just like, oh, I don't want to have to do this. Like, you're getting really good at doing them. Okay, we're gonna take one more, and then we're also going to look at the bottom of the deck energy. Okay, ooh, we have the Queen of Coins, and maybe I should also, I'm so sorry, free the nipple, TBH, but what are you gonna do? Okay, and then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Cups, which this is also a Jupiter card, by the way. You know, it's funny. When I was reading the Pelican passage and they were talking about how big the Pelican's bill is, I was like, oh, big bills, like that means you're getting big money. And then I forgot to say it. And now that the Queen of Coins came out again, I just remembered that. So thank you, Spirit, for bringing that back. And the fact that it's being brought back means that it's a message you need to hear. You needed to hear that you are getting big bills during this period. So there could be an increase in your income, like you are getting a raise or business is doing well and like your yearly income is like significantly more than it was last year. And this Queen of Coins, she looks pretty opulent. Like, look at all of these elaborate accessories. You could be investing in some really nice pieces of jewelry or changing something up with your look. I do feel like you're starting to treat yourself to nice things. I just heard very specifically like getting yourself a nice set of brushes. So that could be like paint brushes or hair brushes or makeup brushes or something else that I don't know about. Maybe you're like an archaeologist and you brush dust off the bones or something. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it doesn't have to be just fashion or your aesthetics. It could be, you know, investing in some better equipment to do your hobbies or some better tools to make your art. You know, you could be investing in a software that is kind of pricey, plugins that are kind of pricey, or renting a studio more often to practice your craft or just to enjoy your hobbies. I feel like you have more financial resources now to spend on your passions and just to treat yourself and just to care for yourself in the way that you really want to. This also makes me think of like sensory pleasures. So you could be getting like a nice fragrance this year that becomes like your signature fragrance, or a new bag or a new pair of shoes. But it feels like a very intentional and long-term purchase. It feels like you're spending a significant amount of money on something that will last a long time. You know, so you could be splurging on a bag, but you're going to use this bag for many, many years. or like finally replacing your wallet that is falling apart and getting one that you really love and that is really pretty. Something like that. Or you're starting to get your nails done because you can finally afford to do that every month or every however many weeks. Just things like that. I feel like your spending is increasing, but it's because your income is increasing, and it feels very much like investing in yourself so that you can, you know, feel good with yourself and your possessions that you use daily, and also the things that you use for like your hobbies and your passions and stuff like that. And you know, there is a generosity with the Queen of Pentacles, but I really feel this going inward because you already are extremely generous with other people. And I don't necessarily see that growing. I don't think you need to be giving more and more and more to others. You already give so much. And so if you have more to give, your spiritual team is really showing that it should be given to yourself. Even the flowers here, like just spending money to put some nice like fresh flowers in your home or something like that, and removing feelings of guilt or shame for spending on yourself. I feel like when your money comes in, like spending it on you is probably the last thing on your mind. And I do think that's kind of shifting during this period. Like you're realizing the importance of taking care of yourself. And I kind of feel like this little 9 of Cups, is this a like a capybara or I don't know, maybe it's a gerbil. Anyway, this cute little creature, I feel like he feels very taken care of. Like his cups are full and he's feeling like he has everything he needs and he's happy. And this is gonna be, yeah, this is what the bottom of the deck is gonna be for this reading. It's you. It's the energy that you are in and the energy that you are feeling during this period. So you feel content, you feel fulfilled, you feel satisfied, you feel taken care of. And also you feel like the universe is listening to you. You feel like the universe is listening to and receiving your prayers and considering your desires. And you feel like all of your wishes are taken care of. And so you can just relax. You can just soften. It's really, really beautiful energy. So for the last part of this reading, we're going to go back into the oracle cards. And I'm going to pull some of these at the very end. So we have Merlina. You are confused and indecisive because you do not have enough information. Do research or seek expert advice before making a decision. If I may. Patience when making your move. Do not feel pressure to act too quickly. If you need time to get more clarity, to get more certainty, to get more information. I know your mind is going a million miles an hour, but I promise there is no rush to execute these projects. I promise. Okay. We also have, the mouse spirit. Tend to the small things. And this really makes me think of like, just take things one day at a time. Just take things one baby step at a time. Also, when it comes to improving your mental health or like just your overall happiness, this card could be indicating that like a little can go a long way. Like really small adjustments that you can make in your day-to-day life can vastly improve your mental health or your overall well-being. Rather than it being this like one big thing that needs to change or this one be-all end-all like big fix to solve your problems, it's probably a lot of little things, and it's probably a lot of little things that are feasible. And also, like, if you're trying to make any big changes with your habits, I know everyone's different. Like, some people just like to dive in head first and like go full in on their new habits or like quit something cold turkey. But, you know, this may resonate for some of you. You may be more successful with small changes. So let's just say, for example, you were someone who eats a lot of junk food, and you're like, okay, starting tomorrow, I am not touching any junk food, and like we're only eating like whole healthy foods. If you go completely 0 to 100 like that, it might be too overwhelming. I'm not saying that, like, some people may have a lot of success with that, some people might prefer that method, but this little mouse is just making me think, like, for this group, you might have more success if you make small changes over time and get used to it over time. And again, no need to have a sense of urgency, like you have time, and going gradually like this may actually in the long run be faster, because, you know, someone who's going, it's like the tortoise and the hare, really. Like, someone who's going slowly but surely and making gradual changes is going to get to their goal faster than someone who's biting off more than they can chew and then failing and then going all in again and then failing again. Even with running, like, I will run faster in the end if I pace myself, if I go slower at first versus going all out in the beginning and then I die. Like, figuratively, obviously. But yeah, slow and steady wins the race. It's the tale as old as time. So finally we have, I go with the flow and feel my connection to the stream of life. The flow will always have you going at the perfect rate. It's your mind that feels like it has to get ahead of the flow, that feels like it has to be ahead of things. So let's take a few wisdom within cards to finish off your reading. Okay, how many is that? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. Oh my gosh. Focus on your inward connection of your divine being. Over time, at 4444 as I'm holding this up, over time this will hurt less and less. Everything takes time. Like, you need time to get used to things, and that is not any sign of like failure or you needing to do more. It's just, it's like your mind and your expectations go a lot faster than this time-space reality. And you feel like you need to be ahead, but you're exactly where you need to be. Oh, I listen to my intuition and it never leads me astray. Sometimes you need to lose yourself in order to find yourself. I'm thinking of that Selena Gomez song, which I've never heard it in full, but it's like, I needed to lose you to love me. I needed to lose you to find me. I wonder if some of you are like getting over something, like for example, a relationship where you really lost yourself, and this will hurt less and less over time. Sometimes you need to lose yourself in order to find yourself. I love this. Whatever you decide, it will be the right decision. Because whatever you decide, the universe is going to work with you. The universe is dynamic. It interacts with you. It's not like a fixed road that you better pick the right one. As you choose, the universe works with you to bring you to the best outcome. And I do feel that a big theme of this period is gaining more security and more trust in yourself. And you will see, like we said, how the universe listens to you, and you will see how luck starts to favor you. So group number ones, these are all the messages I have for your Jupiter in Gemini. I hope that it is a lovely time for you. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm gonna have a link down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch tons of timeless, exclusive pick a card readings, just like this one. I mean, this one isn't totally timeless because it's for a certain period, but the readings on Patreon are timeless. And at the time that this is going up, we might have like 80 something or maybe even 90 full pick a card readings. So you can also decide on topics for future readings. So we have a great time over there. I will have that link down below. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that is an original song. I will also have my latest release link down below. And finally, I will have my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here, and I'm sending so much love to you, to anyone who appeared in this reading, to your higher self, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. Sending love to Jupiter too, and may he bless you. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Hi number twos. So if you guys chose the white, blue, purple die, this is going to be a reading all about Jupiter in Gemini. So let's roll a couple more dice to see what areas of your life might be the most affected by this transit. We have the number 7 and the number 7 again. Okay, repeating 7s could be a significant number for this group, or you or someone significant could be a life path 7, or like born on the 7th, or born in July as the 7th month. But these dice, the number dice, represent astrological houses. So what this is telling me is that your 7th house, meaning your relationships, your partnerships, are going to be the most affected during this period. There could be a certain social circle of yours that is increasing. So for example, your friend group could be increasing. You could be making new friends. You could be making new business connections. There could be new people coming into your workplace or coming into your area of study whom you develop really beautiful relationships with. If you are single, this is a very strong sign of a romantic partner coming into your life. Or if you are already in a relationship, this is a strong sign of you moving to the next level with your partner, whether that be engagement, marriage, moving in together, just moving up with your partner. I do feel a very positive energy from this. So your relationships are going to feel very harmonious and blessed during this period. As I'm also seeing like the expanding energy as sort of magnifying. So this could just be a period in general where your relationships are a major point of focus for you. You may be doing a lot of reflection about how others perceive you, or how you want to be perceived, or what you really want to offer in relationships, how you want to impact other people, how you want to serve other people, how your past and current relationships have shaped you. Just all kinds of reflections surrounding relationships could be a major point of focus for you during this time. Let's go ahead and look at your oracle cards and see what else we can figure out. We have Sea Snake with letting go. We have Waning Crescent with surrender. We have Azalea with passion. And we have stranded. Okay, I just have to tell a story that is coming to my mind with this sea snake card, because I feel like there is some kind of symbolism in there. When I was a little kid, I was at my grandparents' cottage and I had a little net that maybe was for, I don't know, for catching butterflies or something. And I went over by the lake and there was a water snake, like a pretty big water snake in the water. And I think my child brain thought that if I scooped it up, it would just stay in the net. But obviously it didn't. So I scooped it up in my net and like walked over to show my mom or whatever. And then the snake like came out of the net and started slithering all over the place. And I freaked out and I was really scared. Now looking back, it's funny, but at the time it was very scary. And probably the poor snake was like, what the fuck's going on? But it sort of gives me the feeling of naively diving into something and then having that backfire because like you didn't know what you were getting yourself into, or like you dove into something too soon, or you didn't take precautions. So there may be something that you are ready to revisit now with regards to your relationships. You could be healing from some wound in the past where, you know, maybe, for example, you fell head over heels for someone and, you know, gave them everything before you really took the time to get to know them, and then they ended up breaking your heart. Or maybe you know, trusted a friend too quickly and told them all of your deepest secrets. It's like a feeling of maybe like falling too quickly or opening up too quickly, or just going all in the early stages of something and then sort of getting burned by that. And there's a feeling of you recovering from that and trusting yourself. Like, for example, I'm not a kid anymore. I know I'm not gonna pick up a water snake out of the water. Like, I know I have more maturity now. I know more about the world. I'm ready to go back into the lake. There's like that kind of feeling with relationships where maybe it's like you're ready to date again. Maybe you are ready to trust people again. Maybe you're ready to have business partnerships with people again after getting burned. There's that kind of feeling for many of you that's coming through. There's also something coming through unrelated to water snakes, but related to relationships. Some of you have a person who is pulling on your energy quite a bit. Like, they're thinking about you a lot. And I feel that this person is not actively in your life anymore, but they do think about you a lot or check on you a lot. And this person is very much in their ego right now. And it sort of makes them upset to see that you are doing well without them. It's like they want you to miss them, or they want you to like regret that you're not together anymore, or like feel lost without them. And I don't know if you walked away from this person, or if they walked away from you, or if you just kind of naturally drifted apart. But this is very much coming from their ego, because I think, you know, on a soul level, we all wish each other well and wish happiness for each other. But their ego, it's like, wants to know that their absence is affecting you, is kind of how it's coming through. And because their ego may tell them this narrative of like, oh, they'll be so lost without you, or they need you, like referring to you. And then when they see you thriving and doing really well, and it doesn't seem like you're missing them, or regardless if you do or not, like they perceive you as doing just fine and not missing them. It's like it irks their ego. So that's interesting, specific message that just came through. But let's get into these cards. I see we have the number 26, 30, 35. These are making me think of ages. So some of you who chose this group, you could be in like your late 20s or early 30s. This Jupiter transit, it could be affecting your sun, like your natal sun, or your natal Venus. So like your sun sign or your Venus sign. Or it could be affecting the houses that your sun and Venus are in. So for example, if you have sun in the 7th house, then Jupiter might be affecting your 7th house. If you have Venus in the 9th house, it could be affecting the whole 9th house. So if you're familiar with your birth chart, that could be the case. It doesn't have to be, but that could be some confirmation. I'm very late to notice this, but these two messages are quite similar. Letting go and surrender. And we have a waning moon. So the moon is getting smaller and smaller, and it's about to bring in the new moon, which brings like a completely clean slate. So in this period of Jupiter and Gemini, there is like a fresh start that is calling to you, that you will need to surrender to. There may be some unknowns, as you know, there always is with endings and beginnings, but your spiritual team is showing us that on the other side of this letting go and surrender is passion. On the other side of this ending is getting to live a life of passion. Now, you may have some fears or apprehensions about letting go, like letting a certain cycle end in your life. With stranded here and with the multiple people on this card, and especially with the focus on relationships, some of you may be wary about ending a cycle in your life because you feel like it might isolate you from other people, like emotionally, or it might literally physically take you away from your loved ones. So, you know, this passion that is calling to you, it might call for you to move away from where your family lives or from where your friends live, or you might fear that your loved ones won't really understand this choice that you're making, and that will sort of isolate you from them, so to speak. Or, you know, committing to this passion might result in you spending less time with the people in your life. Stranded, it also has that feeling of you can't go anywhere now, you're stuck. So some of you might be worried that inability to go back. So for example, like if you quit a job to pursue your passion and it doesn't work out, there's that fear of, well, like, what if I can't go back to that job? Or what if I can't find a new job as a backup plan? Or someone quitting school and then they're like, well, I didn't finish and get my degree. So what if I quit school and things don't work out and then I can't get employed after that? Or like there's a feeling of literally being stranded, being stuck if things don't work out. But whatever's on the other side of your unknowns is a life of more passion and a life of more freedom as well. Okay, so we are going to get into the tarot that you chose, which is the Ethereal Visions Tarot. When this video is going up, it is the end of May, because it's when Jupiter is entering Gemini. And I feel like the period from now until like the end of September will be a significant time. So whenever you're watching this, like from whenever you're watching until the end of September is important. Or if you're watching this after September, then maybe retroactively you can look back and see how that was an important time. There could also be a message in that like a certain change in your life or like starting a new venture, if you're able to do that before the end of September, it might maximize your blessings and benefits from it. That's not to say if you do it later, you won't receive blessings, but that might be the most like fertile time to do something before the end of September. Oh my gosh, I keep forgetting this. I forgot with group number 1 as well, but I brought out the guidebook for this deck because I wanted to read the passages. So the seat, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Look at what page it's on. 77. And look at your dice, 77. 77 is a very important number for this group. I wonder if like you or someone close to you is born in 1977, which of course then you wouldn't be in this age range, but could be. And also, when I held this up, the camera timer was at 1313. That's the number of the death card. So letting go. Letting go is a theme. So, but what is Jupiter? We'll get into it. What is Jupiter? I want to know what it will be expanding or magnifying for you that will facilitate this letting go. We'll see. We'll get into it. But let's read this passage. Of all the snakes that live in the water, the yellow-bellied sea snake is the one who lives the furthest from land, preferring the open sea to reefs or shallows. Okay, right away, this is giving solar plexus, like yellow belly, because the solar plexus is like where your stomach is, and it's associated with yellow. Maybe that's what Jupiter is expanding for you, expanding your solar plexus so that you can surrender and let go. So it's like you need confidence in yourself to let go, that no matter what's going to happen, I can make it work. And like, I deserve more freedom in my life, and I deserve better in my life. This snake likes to go furthest from land. This snake wants to travel far and wide. I feel like your soul wants to explore and go somewhere far away, whether that's like physically relocating somewhere far away or pursuing something that is very far removed from what you've done in the past. Okay. Yeah, it prefers the open sea to reefs or shallows. Another thing that might be changing in your relationships is the depth of your relationship. So the intimacy that you experience with people in your life could be getting much, much deeper. For those of you who have a partner or a person of interest, I feel like your intimacy is increasing a lot. Like you are seeing all of each other and just becoming really, really close. And in terms of your social circle, I think anyone who isn't capable of having like a deep, intimate bond with you, like surface level relationships will probably be just naturally fizzling out because you won't really be interested in them anymore. You won't have the energy or the will to maintain surface level relationships. So, and this may be something that's already happening in your life, like surface level relationships falling away, and then the ones that stick around, so to speak, the ones who make the cut, if you can put it that way, those relationships will get even deeper. And physical distance will not matter. The bond that you have with your loved ones is so deep that even if you were far away from each other, or even if you didn't see each other for a long time, that could never change anything. I'm like getting emotional because I'm so blessed to have really, really dear friends that I don't see often and that are really far away, and it never changes the depth of our bond. If you have long distance besties, you will know this. Okay, sorry, let's keep going. It grows to approximately 150 centimeters long, which is like, I think that's like almost 5 feet, and has relatively small eyes. Like most aquatic snakes, it has a paddle-like tail, which has adapted over time to increase its swimming ability. Unlike some of the aquatic snakes, this particular sea snake lives its life in open water with not very many structures like coral or submerged branches surrounding it. I also feel like this is symbolic that you might not fit into like conventional societal structures. The yellow-bellied sea snake can also absorb around 1/4 of its oxygen needs through its skin, which allows it to dive for longer periods before surfacing for air. It needs to shed its skin more regularly than any other snake. Whew! Sorry, there's so much symbolism in here. Are any of you who chose this group, have you ever felt like a failure, quote unquote, because you feel like you change your mind so much or you change paths so much in your life and other people seem to know what they're doing and stay on one path? It's because you need to reinvent yourself over and over again. It's because you keep transforming, you keep evolving. That's a sign of growth and the ability to pivot and change paths. That actually takes a lot of courage. Where was I? It needs to shed its skin more regularly than any other snake to rid itself of parasites, which can hinder its ability to swim and survive in the ocean. Unlike most snakes who rub against something rough in order to help shed their skin, this sea snake has to twist itself in such a way that it rubs against itself in order to dislodge its old skin and swim free and without the parasites that weigh it down and cause it to swim off course. You don't need anything outside of you to grow, to transform, to reinvent yourself. It comes from within. You generate your own confidence. You do it yourself. You don't need to rub against any rocks. The sea snake's message is one of letting go. It knows that sometimes this process is not easy. Even when we know we have to let something or someone go, we struggle with the decision and often twist ourselves in knots internally while we work through the process of moving forward. The sea snake challenges you to let go of everything that is holding you back or hindering your ability to live your life to the fullest. This process can be painful, and often we feel that if we just stay still and stop moving, we may be able to keep everything the way it is now, but doing this in the ocean would be a slow death. You must move forward, and you must finally allow that which you have outgrown to be shed. Wow. That sea snake was preaching. Okay, let's get into your tarot now. What else can my group number 2s expect during this Jupiter in Gemini period? We have the King of Cups. We have the Six of Cups. There's definitely a child or children coming into your life, and I actually thought that when the King of Cups came out, it felt like there's an increase in your family. This could be you having a child or your partner having a child, or it could be someone close to you, like a sibling or a friend of yours. But I feel like this child entering your life or children is going to be a catalyst of some kind of profound transformation for you, and will maybe actually help give you the courage to let go of the things that you need to let go of. I think it's something about seeing this infinite potential in a child and wanting the best for them, and then sort of that influences you to also want the best for yourself, or like you want to see this child giving yourself the best so that they know how important like self-care and self-love is, but they're inspiring you in a very positive way to do what's best for you. Just that imagery of the sea snake of like it can't stop moving, it can't stay still, because that would be a slow death, because the parasites would continue to grow. Ooh, like it has to keep moving forward. It has to shed its old skin. Staying where it is will not benefit anyone. Well, maybe it will benefit the parasites, but not in the long term, because when the snake dies, the parasites die too. Maybe ask yourself, like, who really benefits from me staying where I am, or from me staying in my comfort zone? And do they truly benefit, or does their ego benefit? Do I truly benefit, or does my ego benefit? And do we benefit in the long term, or is it a short-term comfort to stay holding on to these things and to stay where I am? Your soul wants movement. Your soul wants to expand their horizons. There could also be a lot of connection with your inner child that you're doing during this period, and especially revisiting your inner child with more compassion and love for them. And just your past in general. Whereas before you may have looked back on past versions of you with disdain is the word that's coming to my mind. With disdain, with shame, with judgment. You're now looking back and showing them compassion and showing them that nothing was wrong with them. These white flowers are a symbol of purity. So it's like you're absolving past versions of yourself of guilt or blame. And you're seeing the wisdom that your past self had. You could be giving your inner child parenting that they needed, and that they didn't receive. I do also feel, because this can also talk about soulmates, and relationships are a big theme for you during this time. So you could be meeting your soulmate during this period, or the identity of your soulmate could be revealed to you. Some of you are already with your soulmate, and you'll see your level of intimacy deepening during this time. There could be a water sign person who's very significant to you, especially Scorpio and Pisces. Cancer is the other water sign, so that too, but especially Scorpio and Pisces are coming through. But this Scorpio energy could also just be because there's so much symbolism of letting go and transforming. We have the Ace of Pentacles. So there could be a new beginning coming in your career. I'm just looking at these two hands and like looking at these two soulmates together. Like you and a soulmate could be working on some kind of business venture together, or if you haven't met your soulmate yet, you could be meeting them through like a career change where you are stepping into their workplace or they are stepping into your workplace. Some of you may be working on a business venture with like a childhood friend, someone you've known since you were very small, or with a sibling. Because it's like it's someone you've known for as long as you can remember. I guess it could be any kind of family member, like a cousin, parent even. I also think there's something shifting in you where you're starting to see more and more abundance in the world, and not seeing abundance just as a monetary thing, and really starting to feel like it's all around you. So your sense of gratitude could be heightening as well. And something that, because I definitely see you connecting to the past quite a bit. And so knowing that you always have this connection to the past may actually be something that helps you let go. Because what I just wanted to say is that you may be connecting to past life versions of yourself. It's almost like, okay, this is going to be hard to explain, but imagine like you're a human in a past life, and that human has grown and accumulated experiences and beliefs and a personality. And then like your soul leaves, but that identity, that entity is like preserved and can now guide you in your current lifetime. So it's like your past versions, like your past self, but also past life versions of you are always there to guide you. And in a way, that makes it safe to let go. The same way you can like let go of a loved one who is passing, because you know they're not actually going to go anywhere. They're going to be guiding you. Like, they may not be physically on earth, but they're still there and guiding you. And in that same way, it's okay to let a version of yourself die, because it's not really dying. It's still there, and it will still guide you, and it will still inform you, and it will still help you. I hope that makes sense. It's like you're letting go of past versions, but so that you can keep moving forward and keep evolving. But the past versions of you are not dying. They're staying with you, and you're still connecting with them. You're not really saying goodbye to them. And in that way, like for those of you who want to like run away from past you because you don't like past you, I feel like your relationship with your past self is improving during this time. You're showing them more love and compassion and honoring the wisdom and the guidance that they have for you. Past you and all versions of you are wonderful. For some of you, this could be indicating like getting a new job that allows you to work with children, or getting a new job that allows your inner child to express themselves more. It could be a job that you've wanted to do since you were a child, or that allows you to utilize the natural strengths you've had since childhood. So we're going to take one more card, and we're also going to look at the bottom of the deck. Okay, we have the Four of Cups. And the bottom of the deck is going to represent you. Yeah, we have the Ten of Wands. It's funny because I was just going to say, oh, and now we have Cancer energy. So we have all the water signs coming out here. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So water signs could be significant to you. If you have any Pisces placements, they might feel a little bit challenged during this time, just because Gemini creates a square with Pisces, which is kind of a challenging aspect. So Jupiter could be unfavorably aspecting, well, it will be at some point, the Pisces placements that you have. I was going to say with the Four of Cups, I feel like this is you embracing a more, like a slower way of living. And then the bottom of the deck was the Ten of Wands. So I feel like many of you are just tired. You're tired, and things cannot keep going the way that they're going. And even like, look at this image. This is like if you were the sea snake, and you are holding on to layers and layers of your old, this sounds so gross. You're holding on to layers and layers of your old skin that you don't need, holding on to burdens that you don't need to be carrying, taking on work that doesn't make your soul happy. This is about letting go, but it's also about lightening your load. You're not carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders anymore. For those of you who have responsibilities that are really, really draining for you, I feel like the burden will be eased in a natural way and in a practical way. If there are any emotional burdens that you're carrying, like if you're carrying guilt from the past, I feel like that's definitely being released during this period. Also, if you're carrying any grudges, if there's someone you've been holding a grudge against, or you've been holding like bitterness or resentment, you're getting over that too. So this can be emotional baggage, as well as, you know, burdens of time and burdens of energy. I feel like it's all just being laid down. We're realizing what is not ours to carry, or just what we don't have to carry anymore. What is not needed in this next leg of the journey. So it feels like a big release and just like a huge weight lifted. And when it comes to your career, like if you feel overworked, if you feel underpaid, if you feel underappreciated, or if you feel like your work is dreadful because you're not passionate about it, that is definitely something that is going to be changing. And I do feel like you're embracing a more childlike energy in this period. And I'm hearing like realizing that being an adult doesn't have to suck. Like, so much of what adulthood is can feel bleak and very heavy and very taxing. And I think you're not buying into that rat race anymore. And I do think that you're slowing down. This Four of Cups feels slow and it feels mindful. It is a card that can talk about boredom, but I actually think that it feels positive in this spread, almost like someone is becoming comfortable with boredom, quote unquote, as in they don't need to fill every single moment with something to do. They don't need to be stimulated all the time. This feels like someone who is overworked and overstimulated and takes on too much. And maybe this person is taking on so much because there's something inside them that they're running away from, like stillness or being alone with their thoughts, or the guilt of not doing anything. They're not running away from that anymore. So it's like you're getting very comfortable with doing nothing. You're getting comfortable with having nothing to do that day. And I feel like a lot of us have been here before. I certainly have, where you're like, oh, I have a free day today. I better catch up on that work, or like, what can I do that's productive with this day? And just taking all moments of stillness and rest and relaxation away from yourself in the name of productivity or getting ahead. But not anymore. We're not doing that anymore. You're embracing stillness. You're embracing group number 2. I need to buy new batteries for my camera, I think, because they are just not holding their charge anymore. Like, it was full when I started filming, and that it should not have died in that period of time. But that is very symbolic too. Like, and I usually notice when the battery's gonna die, and I'll say something like, oh guys, sorry, like I have to change my battery. But this time I didn't even notice. And the next thing I knew, like the camera turned off and it was dead. I feel like some of you guys, your battery is dying, or like you're out of battery and you might not even realize it. It's the slow death that the sea snake goes through. It's like, if you don't put down some of this burden, if you don't let go of some of these responsibilities, if you don't lighten your load, like your battery could be depleting and you don't even realize it. I also feel like this Four of Cups is about tuning into yourself. You know, this person has their eyes closed. They look like they're in a meditative position. This looks more peaceful and meditative than some other Four of Cups cards, because he's not like grumpily crossing his arms. It looks like he's in, you know, he's serene. I do feel that this is also about getting in touch with yourself and realizing like proactively when you need to lighten your load or when you need to rest, because there's like a sudden, there's like a disruption in the force or whatever it is. So you can tell before it happens, like, oh, if I keep going like this might wear me out. This might become a stressor before you actually get stressed by it. It's like this kind of proactive self-care that I think you're getting really good at, because you know that you deserve this serenity and that you deserve these moments of rest. I feel like with all the water signs showing up here, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, this could also be an indication of you getting more into your feminine energy during this period. So for the last part of this reading, we're going to take a look at these oracle cards, and then at the very end, we're also going to pull some of our wisdom within cards. We have Shanti. I am the angel of peace. Oh, what a lovely message after what we've been speaking about. I am the angel of peace. I bring you new tranquility and a smoother road ahead. We have the deer spirit, bring a gentle touch. I love the orange colors of these cards. I was even thinking with this person wearing a brown cloak, I was going to say that the color brown could be significant, but like browns and oranges seem to be coming up, like, or golds, like warm caramelly colors. These could be calming colors for you, or colors that bring luck to you or elevate your mood if you put them on your body. This could also be like absorbing sunlight, getting natural sunlight on your skin, watching the sunrise, watching the sunset. These could be wonderful for your well-being. Also, like eating orange foods or brown foods, especially like grains, you know, like brown rice or something like that. Anyway, I'm not going to give food advice because everybody's different, but if you feel called to orange foods, your body might be wanting them. And yeah, bring a gentle touch. Like, exactly. It's about being more gentle with yourself, being more compassionate with yourself. That's like a really, really big theme for this period. And with this focus on your relationships, I think we are keeping company that facilitates this energy, that embraces this softness, that embraces this gentleness, that embraces this stillness. And maybe, you know, taking it upon ourselves that like this is the type of community, this is the type of environment that we need to cultivate. I am mindful at all times and live only within each moment I have. Also very much giving mindfulness vibes. Also just realizing we have even more Pisces energy because the number 18 is related to the moon card, which also feels Cancerian. So just water signs are coming out left, right, and center for this group. Also, I feel like this is Aries and Leo because it's a sheep and a lion. All right, so finally, we are going to take some wisdom within cards to finish off your reading. What else does group number 2 need to know? So, okay, so we have 4 coming out for you. Wow, I embrace each and every moment and acknowledge how precious they are. Look at these two together. I embrace each and every moment and acknowledge how precious they are. I am mindful at all times and live only within each moment I have. It just feels so much like slowing down and enjoying every moment you have. And in the same way, you know, you cherish the moment when it's here, and when it's time to move on, it's time to move on. And the fact that I feel like knowing that this moment won't last forever is what will make you cherish it that much more. And especially if you have children in your life. You know, I don't have children, but I've heard from parents that when you do have children, it like the time just goes by like that, you know? It's like you have this tiny little baby and then you blink and all of a sudden they're going to first grade, you know, and then you blink again and they're a teenager. I've heard that goes by really, really fast. And I think it's easy to get caught up in the busyness of everyday life and the daily tasks. And sometimes it feels like it's difficult, or we have to remind ourselves to just stop and enjoy that moment, because it's not, this is the one time we get to experience this moment. And if we keep worrying about the future, we might miss it. Or if we keep dwelling in the past. Oh, I am the luckiest person in the world. Yeah, the more you stop to appreciate, the more lucky you will naturally feel. Luck is something, and that's literally what we were talking about. I feel like your whole perception of abundance is changing. It's not something you chase, it's something you acknowledge. Like, it's not like, where is that abundance? I gotta go find it. It's that abundance is already everywhere, and your job is not to like seek it out and pursue it. It's just to see it where it already is. And it's everywhere. And it's like, the more it becomes this cycle, the more gratitude you show, the more things you find to be grateful for. The more you stop to appreciate moments, the more lucky you feel. If it's coming up, let it go. That feels like emotions coming up to be released. So again, there's a feeling of releasing baggage, of moving on from past hurts. We even started off the reading with that, like getting over a past wound or a past fear, and you're ready to get back in. You're ready to open your heart up again. Yep. Exactly. How can you live in peace? That's a big priority for you during this period. I'm also hearing like, who am I trying to impress? Who am I trying to impress? Who am I trying to prove myself to? Who am I doing all this for? For what? Like, for what am I doing all this when I could be doing this? This is the energy. Like, look at the difference. And I think you're also realizing that this is not something you have to like earn or like prove to people that you deserved it. And like, if someone saw you sitting here relaxing under this tree, like, you don't worry about how they're perceiving you, or you don't have to justify it like, well, I worked for 8 hours before this, so like I deserve this break. Or like, you don't have to justify it to yourself even. You are fully allowing peace in at each moment, and allowing rest in whenever it may visit you. Okay, group number 2s. These are all of the messages we have for you for your Jupiter in Gemini. So I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself. Stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch tons of exclusive pick a card readings. I think we have like 80 or maybe even 90 at the time that this video is going up of full pick a card readings. And you also get to decide on topics for future readings. We have a great time over there. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video. That is an original song. I will also have my latest release link down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here. And I'm sending so much love to you, to anyone who appeared in this reading, either directly or indirectly. And I'm sending lots of love to your higher self, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Hi, number threes. So if you guys chose the sparkly pink die and the Muse Tarot, this is going to be a reading all about Jupiter in Gemini. So let's get right into it. I want to just roll a couple more dice to see what areas of your life could be most affected by this transit. So we have the number 6, and we have the number 1. Oh, these are numbers together that make me think of self-love. So self-love is definitely really blossoming during this period. Also with the number 6, it is making me think of health, because these astro dice, the numbers are related to houses. And so the 6 obviously is related to the 6th house. And health is one thing that is coming to my mind quite strongly. So this could mean that there's certain areas of your health that are improving during this time, whether that be physical, mental, emotional, even spiritual. It could also be that if there's anything that is impeding your best health, then that issue could be magnified so that you can more easily identify it and address it. It could also be that your interest in health is increasing. So you could be learning a lot about health, like physical, mental, emotional, or you could even be learning about how all of these kind of rely on each other and cultivating a holistic, healthy way of living for yourself. And that actually makes sense because the number 6, or the 6th house rather, has relations to like our routine and our daily habits and our responsibilities. So you could be fine-tuning your routine during this period, finding something that really works for you with regards to like your work, your sleep, your exercise, your eating, your studying, or all of the above, and finding like the length of time that works best for you or the approach that works best for you. And really, yeah, like the word fine-tuning is coming to my mind. And also like this is kind of Virgo in energy, where you really like zoom in and analyze the situation. So some of you guys could be keeping like logs of your progress, or keeping logs of how you feel. Like Wednesday, this was my mood, and this is how much sleep I got, and this is what I ate, and not in a way to like evaluate your performance, but just in a way to get to know yourself and try to make connections of, oh, look, I feel better when I do this. I don't feel that good when I do that. And it's really coming from a place of self-love and just trying to find the thing that makes you feel the best. It is not coming from a place of trying to like discipline yourself or punish yourself or assign any sort of moral quality to it, but really just I want to feel the best I can, and I want to build like habits for myself that work for me. And even with this number 1, it's very much about you personally, and recognizing that you are unique and you have unique needs, and so you will tailor your life and your habits to your unique needs, and not what someone says you should do, or not what is expected of you. So it really comes from a place of like tuning into yourself, seeing how you're feeling, asking yourself what you need. It's like holistic health, and it's health that is based on self-love. And I'm so happy channeling this, because sometimes we have not the best relationship with this concept, like with the concept of health or with the concept of like sticking to a schedule. It can feel like something that is restrictive or scary, or there's like judgments attached to it. And so just to see you able to like build this beautiful relationship with yourself and approach it from a loving place and do it in your own way with no shame, it's like, oh, like it's just such a beautiful energy. I'm also hearing like you're getting real about something. So let's say, for example, you've always been telling yourself, I want to learn French, I want to learn French, I want to learn French. In this period, you are getting real about it. So you're like, let me not just keep talking about doing this. I'm actually going to commit and make this a part of my daily life. Like, I'm going to do the thing. Because this feels very much about like your consistent efforts in your day-to-day life. And also with this first house energy, that is Aries energy, which is the one who just like dives into something, the one who takes action, the one who takes initiative, the one who just goes for it and figures it out as they go. So there could be something that you've been telling yourself forever that you're gonna start, like learning a skill or starting a project, and this is the time where you're finally doing it. You're just like diving in, and I think you will be impressed by how quickly you get used to it and how easily like whatever this is becomes a new part of your daily life. I see someone being like, you know what, I thought this was going to be super overwhelming, but it actually fits really nicely into my life. Like, instead of watching my usual shows on Netflix before bed, now I'm watching like a French series instead. And you know, it's a little adjustment, but it's really helping me move along towards my goals. You know, these things, it just feels like they're becoming less overwhelming. And there's really this feeling of no longer are we shaming ourselves for what we need or for our progress or for a lack thereof. It's like you're looking in the mirror and you're saying, I'm on your side and I'm rooting for you and I'm working with you and I'm not here to judge you, and let's live the best life that we can. Oh my gosh, this energy is so sweet. There could be a change in your appearance during this period. You could be going through a sort of physical glow up, so to speak, as well. If you are working on self-love, if you are working on your health, and these changes could be reflecting physically. For example, like maybe your skin is improving, or maybe like your physique is changing or something like that. Yeah, so let's get into your oracle cards. We have Turtle with Instinct. So this is speaking to like the turtle's instinct of moving towards the ocean. I feel like if they're on the sand or if they hatch on the sand, they like instinctively know where the sea is and know to head towards it. So right away, I feel like this could be talking, it makes so much sense. Like, given what we just were talking about, this is you trusting your own instincts, really tuning into yourself, listening to what you are asking, like listening to what your body is asking of you, listening to what your soul is asking of you, and believing them and trusting in your ability to tap into their messages, and trusting in your ability to deliver to yourself what you need. Like self-love, but also self-sufficiency and self-trust is coming to my mind. I'm getting so emotional with this message. We have the number 6 again. Oh my God. Self-love. Literally self-love. With the waxing crescent moon. So waxing means it's growing. I feel like many of you are already on this self-love journey, and it's just something that's going to grow more and more and more throughout this transit. We have Orchid with fertility. So this could be like literal fertility for some of you. If you are looking to conceive, then this could be quite literal, that this is like a fertile period for you. But this could also be symbolic in that you are planting your seeds in fertile soil. So you know, if you have ideas of, like that learning French example I was saying, the ideas of what you want to invest your energy into, your spiritual team is basically saying like, yeah, that's going to lead to a very promising future for you. So if there's a skill you've been wanting to learn, or a project you've been wanting to start, or something you've been wanting to study, your spiritual team's basically saying that's fertile soil. So like if you put your efforts into that, not only are you going to master it quite quickly, but it will lead to like fruitful times for you. So it could lead to success, it could lead to money coming in. If you have any business ideas or like a new path you want to start in your career that you've been thinking about, I also feel this is promising to you that it's going to lead to fruitful times. Oh, this looks very fruitful as well. Like that's literal fruit. This also looks fertile. And then we have listen. It's all just fitting together so well. I'm getting so emotional. I think I'm just so happy for this group. Like you're no longer doubtful of your ability to listen to yourself and to trust that you know what's best for your own life. And the more you listen to yourself, and self-love, like if you're wondering how to love yourself better, it's to listen to yourself. To listen, and not to the mental chatter, but to listen to what your body is telling you, to listen to what your gut is telling you, to listen to what your intuition is telling you, and to commit to taking the time to do that and to learn how to do that. That's how you can love yourself. Like the way you will feel loved is to feel listened to. And that maybe goes for how you most feel loved by others. You know, we all want to be heard, but I feel like that's the next step and a really important step in your self-love journey is listening to yourself. And the more you listen and the more you trust your instincts, the more abundant you will be. You will not regret listening to your gut. The more you do it, the more you will be rewarded, the more you will be blessed, the more you will see abundance in your life. Absolutely. For every group today, I've wanted to say that like this Jupiter transit could be affecting your sun, like your natal sun, your sun sign in some way. Mercury as well. It could be affecting your Mercury sign. So if you know your birth chart, I mean, I think everyone knows their sun sign, but like to use myself as an example, my sun and Mercury are in Aries. So a Jupiter in Gemini would sextile those placements. So like wherever your sun or Mercury is, like when Jupiter aspects them, it could be a significant time. Okay, I'm not going to forget for this group. For all the other groups, I was forgetting to read from this guidebook, but we're going to read the turtle passage. Okay, here she is, and she is on page 87. Sea turtles are ancient creatures. They hold significance to many of the traditional coastal language groups. Along the east coast of Australia, many sea turtles return to the place they were born to lay their own eggs. The mother turtles dig a hole and lay sometimes over 100 eggs. Then they sweep sand into the hole before making their way back to the ocean, leaving the eggs to hatch alone. I should mention, by the way, these coastal language groups, and maybe you've guessed because it's talking about Australia, this deck was inspired by Aboriginal groups in Australia and of course the sea. This was gifted to me by an Australian friend. I love this deck. I should use it more often. So, the turtle hatchlings represent our natural instinct, the imprinted knowledge we inherit at birth. When the turtles hatch, they are very vulnerable, and as they make a run towards the ocean, they are alone and in a brand new world they cannot even see. They hear the waves and they know that they must make it into the ocean if they are going to survive. We are all born with natural instincts, and as children we trusted them as we grew and learned and explored the world around us. The strongest of those instincts is survival. Our intuition is always wary. Our subconscious is always on the lookout for danger, as well as trying to navigate us towards our life's path, the thing we were born into this world to do. Let your instinct guide you. The sea turtle urges you to consider what you are here to achieve. If you are feeling pulled towards a change of direction or feel a calling to follow your dreams, the sea turtle is here as affirmation that you should indeed follow your instinct at this time and do whatever it is you feel drawn to. Pay attention to anything you are drawn to, as it is there for a reason. And what I really love about that passage is that it highlights this is an instinct that you were born with. The same way the baby turtles hear the waves and just know, I have to move towards that. You too know what you are meant to move towards. Whatever is calling to you, whatever you feel drawn to, is there for a reason. And it's also heartening, if that's a word, I don't know. It's also nice to hear that you were born with this ability to trust your instincts. And so you already know how to do this. I think a lot of the time we overthink it, but tapping into our inner guidance is something very natural. It's something that all of us can do. We were born doing it, and we already know how. And I think maybe for some of you who chose this group, it just needs to be simplified, of like, you already know what you're doing, even when you feel like you don't. You are like this baby turtle who all the while on their journey is saying, what if I'm going the wrong way? What if my intuition is incorrect? But even as you have those doubts, you are moving towards the sea. You are already moving towards your sea. You are already doing it. Overthinking might cast doubts in your mind that like you're doing something wrong or you're going the wrong way, but you are already facing your true north. You are already tapped in. And so what Jupiter might be expanding for you is that awareness and also expanding your trust. So let's get into your tarot now and see what else is coming for you during this period. I love this deck, the Muse Tarot. Oh my gosh, we have the 10 of Pentacles. We have, she fell on the floor, 1 second. We have Temperance. We have the Sun, the World, and then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Empress. Beautiful. So this is you. The bottom of the deck has been representing you. This is the energy that you will be embodying. And the Empress is like infinite abundance. She is capable of creating and manifesting anything. So something that's also happening for you during this time, I think, is really tapping into your manifesting powers and again trusting in your manifesting abilities. I love the Empress in this deck, how it's like everything, the whole universe is being born from her heart. This is you believing in your own ability to create the life you want and to create the version of yourself that you want to be, and even recognizing that that version of yourself already exists within you. And your dream life and your dream reality already exists within you. And you are birthing it. You are birthing it. It is not something you're finding out there in the world. It's something that you are generating yourself. It's something that you are creating yourself. I also think this is about nurturing yourself. You are really in an energy of nourishing and nurturing yourself and giving yourself as much as you need. Like allowing yourself to take as much as you need, allowing yourself to receive as much as you need. The Empress can talk about fertility or like pregnancy or parenthood. So some of you, if this is something that you want, of course, this could be a really strong sign of pregnancy or of having a child. But the example that I was going to give was like a pregnant person, and they have to eat more and they have to sleep more because they're literally creating another life. And so, you know, depriving yourself of nourishment is only hindering your ability to create. It's, you know, rather than feeling like, oh, I'm taking too much, or I'm being selfish, or I'm being greedy, or I don't deserve this, like whatever goes through your mind when it comes to receiving, it's like your whole way of looking at it is changing, where you realize that you are nourishing yourself, you are fueling yourself, you are charging yourself so that you can give freely to the world, so that you can create. You need materials to create. You need energy to create. And so you must nourish yourself. That means taking all the rest you need to recharge. That means like giving yourself the foods you need, giving yourself the resources you need, or being comfortable with asking for those resources. It could be like taking any kind of assistance or support that you need, and not feeling like less worthy, or like your success is less valid if you take this. You need these tools to create. You need these resources to create. It's like you're trying to make a cake, but you won't let yourself go to the store and get ingredients. It doesn't, I almost want to say it doesn't make sense. How can you expect yourself to just output and give and produce and create if you won't let yourself receive? It doesn't work. So stepping into your receiving energy is very important. And that also means like periods of being in a receptive energy and not outputting stuff. And like if you're a creative, this means like you're not putting out work all the time. You have your seasons of reflecting and of learning and of gaining life experiences. You can't just keep giving and giving and giving. And so what Jupiter is doing is helping you receive more, and maybe magnifying the areas in which you need to be more in a receptive energy. Like you are not, and also you're not a machine. You are not just like a giving machine, you know, like just to use myself for an example, like I'm not a YouTube video machine or something like that. And if I perceived myself as such, that would be very problematic. So there may be in some ways where you have been exploited by external factors, or maybe you even exploit yourself or your own creativity in some ways. And I'm hearing like, I am not a machine, or I am not a factory. I'm like a living, breathing human being, and I need to nourish myself. So that's the energy that we're coming into. And I think it's no you know, it's no wonder that the 10 of Pentacles is here. This is about abundance, but it's about abundance in the long term. It's about abundance in a sustainable way. I'm thinking of humans' relationship to the earth, kind of, where it's like we want to keep developing more and keep making more advancements and making more money and destroying the planet in the process. And it's like, what good is all this technology and all this money and all these developments if our Mother Earth is dying? Like, if we don't have an Earth, how are we going to enjoy all this stuff if there's nowhere to live? Like, we're going to be gone. And it's like, we have to move forward in a sustainable way that honors the physical vessel. We can't be exploiting the resources. We receive so that we can give, and we give so that we can receive. And it's a beautiful intuitive cycle that life has, but when we get in our head and what we think we should do and start doubting our inner guidance, that balance gets really out of whack. And so I feel like this is you getting back into that balance and intuitively knowing when it's time to give, when it's time to receive, when it's time for growth and expansion, when it's time for stillness and introspection. It's like you're getting back into that flow of that just coming naturally to you. And that feels very like divine feminine, which that's the Empress. Like, that's the energy you're getting into. What the changes you're making in your life, it's like you're setting yourself up for long-term abundance and sustainable abundance. And this is also a card that can talk about having children, because it talks about your descendants and your legacy and your future generations. To all my child-free people out there, I'm sorry if these messages are awkward, but I feel like many of you who chose this group, and maybe it's not that you yourself are having children, but that you're becoming more conscious of wanting to leave behind a better earth. So another thing that Jupiter could be expanding for you during this period is like your consciousness of the collective and your love for this planet and the future of this planet, and wanting to make changes not just in yourself but in the world so that you can leave behind a better planet. You may be feeling really connected to nature, to animals, to Mother Earth, moving more into like natural and organic things and moving away from like machines and digital things. And that's not to say that those are bad. I just feel like instinctively during this time you're wanting to be more and more grounded in nature. You may be spending more time outside. You may be spending more time with animals. You could even be volunteering with animals or volunteering to plant trees, or I'm thinking about the sea turtles and how they need saving too. Like, you could be doing something related to saving the environment or like wildlife. I think conservation is the word, or preservation, I don't know, like preserving the ecosystems. You could be donating or raising awareness about something environmental. And it's that's so beautiful, because it's like it feels like a natural progression the more you start to honor the wisdom of your human body. Like, your human body is Mother Earth. Your human body is nature. Your human body is a part of that. So it just makes sense that the more you honor your body and like you are just in awe of its wisdom, you feel connected to all life on this earth, like the living, breathing organism that is this planet and all the creatures on it. Like, getting more in touch with your body just naturally is a transition to that. And all of the pressures that you put on your body to like be a certain way or look a certain way or perform a certain way, you realize that that is not nature, like that is not of Mother Earth. That's like societal, that's programming. This is like embracing your nature, embracing your natural self, and honoring your natural rhythms over the artificial rhythm of modern society, which is not realistic, not sustainable, not healthy, like for the vast majority of us. Yeah, it's really like, as much as you can within your current living situation and lifestyle, going back to your most natural way of being and like reconnecting with nature. I love this energy. We have Temperance, which also makes me think of health, which also makes me think of balance. You could be going, especially with the world here as well, you could be going on either a long distance trip, like I'm thinking another continent, or you could be going on a very long trip, like at least a month, that is transformative for you, that is eye-opening for you. You could be finding a new community, or you could be meeting your soul family, actually. Meeting your soul tribe. Meeting... This is giving me Pleiadian vibes, just like the fair skin and the blonde hair, because that's often how Pleiadians are depicted, kind of like Nordic looking, so to speak. That's how they're described. I don't know if you guys resonate with being a starseed, but because I was just about to say, like, finding a community of light workers whose values are very much in line with Mother Earth and not whatever like human agenda is prevalent in society. It's like you're not from Earth, but you have a special connection to the Earth and love for the Earth, is kind of how it's coming through. And then with the Sun here, honestly, this kind of feels like enlightenment or awakening, which is not necessarily how I would always read this card, but just in the whole context of this spread, it feels like a sort of awakening that you are going through. And with Temperance as well, because this is like an advanced being. This is the card after death. So it's like you go through an ego death and you evolve into this being. And you're waking up to who you truly are and your true potential, and you're no longer bound by these like silly standards and expectations that society puts on you. And when you evolve and you're in this position, it really will feel silly. Like the pressures on you right now that feel crushing, it's like once you come out on the other side of those, you're like, oh my God, that was so silly. I can't believe I stressed myself out so much over these silly rules. I really feel that that's how you're feeling. It's like you're having this awakening that so much of human life is just like a made up story that everyone agrees to perpetuate. And that unfortunately, the story that everyone's agreeing to right now makes a lot of people stressed out and like messes with their health and messes with their inner guidance. And I just see like you and this community choosing a different story and maybe guiding others to do the same. Like we have the power to choose a way of living that is more like holistically healthy and the full picture, which also includes the mental, emotional, and spiritual health, which are so often overlooked just because they're not necessarily like concrete with your senses, five senses, but they're very much real and very important. Yeah, there's like some kind of awakening that you're going through, and all of these, like the relationship you're cultivating with yourself and these realizations that you're having, they might lead you to like put out some really inspiring art or like write something that is very moving. This feels like being in a creative energy, the Sun and the Empress. And there's also something about like healing, like both healing the masculine and healing the feminine, and having them come together in a way that is harmonious and not in a way that is one against the other. And that's something you can very much see within yourself. Like sometimes we have an inner masculine and an inner feminine who are at odds, and they need to come together. You can very much see it in the outside world. But there's something about a masculine energy and a feminine energy like coming together, reconciling, realizing that they are one and the same, that they are two sides of one coin, that they need each other as much as their ego wants to feel independent and maybe sometimes wants to compete with one another or disassociate from one another. It's like we're the same and we need each other, and we need to start recognizing the beauty in each other rather than bickering about who's better and like how we don't understand each other. It's this feeling of like, this is silly. I see you. It's like you're rising above all the silliness of how humans imprison themselves with their own stories and then call that the objective reality. It's this feeling, and I'm not saying rising above it as in like you're better than it, but you're seeing it from a bird's eye view. You're seeing it for what it is, and you're empowering yourself to create your own narrative and create your own life. Wow, even the world feels like seeing the full picture, or something coming full circle. The energy of this one is hitting different, group number 3. This is very powerful. I just looked up and saw a 3737, which could be a relevant number for you. But let's take a look at these oracle cards now for some additional messages and guidance. And then we're going to take some wisdom within cards at the very end, which is so apt for your group. Oh my gosh, we have Archangel Michael. I am with you, giving you the courage to make life changes that will help you work on your divine life purpose. This will definitely be a time as well, like to lean into support from your angels. And yes, like we were talking about expecting yourself to give and give without allowing yourself to receive. The same could go with receiving support from your spirit guides, receiving support from your angels. I see a lot of people feeling guilty about asking their guides for help or asking their angels for help. And you know, even if people are kind of joking when they say it, being like, oh, I know my guides are so annoyed with me that I keep asking them, or blah, blah, blah. And no, they're not. And yes, I know it's just a joke, but it's like, even if it's a joke, like don't say that, you know? It's like when you make a self-deprecating comment, even if it's a joke, like you shouldn't be putting that out there. I mean, I don't mean to like police you or, you know, but I don't know, it makes me sad when people think that their guides would be annoyed with them or like not want to help them or just like leave them alone to figure it out on their own. That's not the vibe. Anyway, we have Starfish Spirit, open to infinite possibility. And we have, I refuse to give up because I haven't tried all possible ways. Those are quite similar. Like, there's infinite possibilities, and I haven't tried all possible ways. And I think it's significant that this person, it's almost like they're trapped in a bottle. And so they may feel like they have explored everything, but that's only from this limited perspective within the bottle. And if it's one thing you're doing during this period, you're definitely coming out of this bottle and exploring the whole universe beyond that. Okay, let's get into your I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if Jupiter's like doing something in your 8th or 9th house, or doing something to your 8th or 9th house, like aspecting it in some way. This will all feel kind of terrible until it doesn't. So there may be transitions that you're going through during this period that feel uncomfortable. And that it kind of feels abrupt, right? It feels terrible until it doesn't. It's almost like things are so uncomfortable and then just one day you wake up and you feel better. I'm imagining detox for some reason. Like you're detoxing from something and it feels like shit. But then, like for example, I heard like if you quit sugar, you can have like bad headaches, or you could even have like stomach aches and stuff, and you can feel really tired and just feel like crap. But then eventually your body gets used to it and you start to feel a lot better. So you could be going through some kind of detoxing or purging, something like that, where it sort of feels worse before it feels better. And that's just kind of a part of the process. I am a magnet for an unlimited abundance of love, health, and money. Absolutely. I am in charge of my own happiness, which is just exactly what we've been talking about. It's a responsibility, but it's also liberation. I am in charge of my own happiness. And then we have support and respect aren't the same thing. I've always been interested by this card because I'm not exactly sure what it means. But when I think about it, you can definitely have people's support who don't really respect you. Like they might support you for their own selfish reasons, but not necessarily because they respect what you're doing. Or you could have someone who is like, yeah, I respect that. If you're gonna make that choice, I respect that, but they're not actually like actively supporting you. Let me know your insights on this card, because I've always been like, I wonder what she's like really trying to say, but that's my interpretation of it. Maybe it means something quite specific for you, but something to keep in mind. And maybe even in your own life, are you consciously or inadvertently supporting something that you don't respect? I think unfortunately a lot of us do, like as consumers of things and media, like giving something your money or giving something your attention is a form of support. And sometimes we could definitely support things that we don't respect, that we don't stand by. And there could also be a lot of things that we do, like respect the idea of, and we like the idea of, but we're not actively supporting it with our actions. So maybe there's something in this period about like making those align. Kind of like how we spoke about, I'm no longer thinking about doing something or wanting to do something, I'm going to do it. You know, it's about making your actions align with your intentions and aligning with how you feel. And that's also about honoring yourself. So group number 3s, those are all the messages that I have for you. So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch tons of exclusive pick a card readings. I think at the time that this is going up, we have like 80 or maybe even 90 exclusive full pick a card readings, and you can also decide on topics for future readings. We have a great time over there. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that is an original song. I will also have my latest release link down below. And finally, I will link my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really appreciate having you here, and I'm sending so much love to you, to anyone who appeared in this reading, directly or indirectly, to your soul tribe, to Archangel Michael. Thank you for being here. I am sending love to your higher self, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.